Marjo Kenya yango ni piny Kenya ochomo kamarach kata kamano kapok waduoge twak marwa achiel kachiel e studio kadwa ni wadhe mar mondo mi wawinjane kaka jatend migao mochung' ne wechego mag somo Julius Ogamba loso gi sani.
Will be clustered in line with the pathways they will be offering. The ministry has already clustered the current secondary schools based on the 3 pathways that they will offer. There are now 9,605 senior schools, 262 in cluster 1, 708 in cluster 2, 1,381 in cluster 3, and 7,254 schools in cluster 4. The schools are clustered to ease the selection process for learners. Clustering takes into consideration the number of pathways, the breadth of the curriculum offered, the accommodation type and infrastructure, and other resource strengths of these schools. Cluster 1, for example, are schools that will offer all the 3 pathways with a broad curriculum offering subjects in the 7 tracks. Class 2 will offer the 3 pathways but with a leaner curriculum compared to Cluster 1. They have the minimum requirement infrastructure for the 3 pathways and have accommodation facilities for boarding. Cluster 3 schools will offer 2 pathways with a broad curriculum with subjects from 5 tracks. They have the minimum required infrastructure for the 2 pathways. Cluster 4 schools will offer 2 or 3 pathways. They are predominantly day schools based on the distances they covered by learners. Some have started to prepare partial boarding facilities. The clustering will be an ongoing process and the clusters will be reviewed annually. We look forward to your support as we implement this transition. This transition to a new education system is also happening with changes to policies and various laws to improve efficiency. As you are aware, the Presidential Working Party on Education Reform was consulted by His Excellency the President in September 2022. The Working Party made comprehensive recommendations for the reform of our education sector. Some of the recommendations were administrative, while others required policy and law reform. As we speak, Honorable Chair and members, we have prepared a sessional paper and 11 bills to affect and effect the recommendations made by the Working Party. We subjected these drafts to public participation. We anticipate that by the end of October 2025, these bills would have been considered by Cabinet and that would submit them to Parliament. We therefore look forward to your support once again for the passage of these bills. Finally, honourable members, we depend on our Parliament for our budget. We are grateful that the education sector budget has been growing over the years and that we now have the lion's share of the national cake at almost 30%. This is well over the UNESCO recommendation rate of between 15% and 20% of the national budget. However, critical aspects remain underfunded. We need greater support, for example, to provide capitation at the approved rates. We require more funds to provide loans and scholarships for our university and TVET students. Part of the support we will require here relates to the rationalization of resources in the education sector, especially through the consolidation of scholarships and bursaries in the sector. Thank you, honorable members, and we are happy to be here. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, our CS, for those opening remarks that are here. Indeed, our expectations for this meeting are quite captured in those 2 sets of remarks. That government fund education because we want equitable access to education. And in this ecosystem of lack of adequate funding, then how do we navigate? I think we need to stop it there. I don't know if anybody has a remark on the prior remarks by the CS. I would just wish to go to the next session, which I'm also chairing. That is to do with status of implementation of a cabinet resolution on merging and dissolving 10 state corporations. I know that came as a result of a cabinet memo, and the state corporations that are being merged are University Fund, HELP, Commission for Higher Education, TVETA, Kenya National Qualifications Authority, NACONEC, SEMASTEA, UNESCO NATCOM, SEPU, and Jomo Kenyatta Foundation. Bwana CS, can you briefly...
Before you go there, yes, because you've indicated that we need to interrogate the speech of the Cabinet Secretary.
Yes.
Possibly, I just want to make one request from the Cabinet Secretary on the matter that he raised about the constructions of classrooms most of the schools in terms of upgrading the junior schools and primary schools shortage. How have you, as a ministry, how have you done this? Have you done it by contracting or through schools? And how many, as you indicated, how many classrooms have you constructed? And what is the shortage possibly right now? And how are you also trying to mitigate that shortage? Because we have a big problem in most of the schools, particularly on this issue when we are now going for transition on grade 9, that there are schools that have no classrooms at the moment.
Thank you.
You can respond.